On the morning of November 13th, 2022, the residents of Moscow, Idaho woke up not from, but to a nightmare. Overnight, four college students, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, had been stabbed to death in their home. No forced entry, no murder weapon, no suspect. A crime so swift and so brutal it was over in minutes and left blood literally dripping out of the walls of the home. 4 weeks after, the streets of Moscow, Idaho were hauntingly quiet. A college town that once pulsed with Friday night energy was paralyzed by a single unanswered question. Residents wondered if the killer was still living among them.
Welcome to Crimelia Street. I'm Sam.
And I'm Tori. And we are gathered here today. Episode 36? Question mark? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 36, question mark. Yep. We actually just did get a wonderful interview from Taylor Swift about her songwriting and everything from, what publication was that from?
New York Times.
New York Times. I wanted to say, I didn't want to assume.
Right. It was like just random, which is, what is she cooking up? Anytime she starts doing like random publicity, it's like there's got to be 12 Easter eggs, well, 13 probably Easter eggs in there. She said a lot of fives. No, sorry, she said a lot of sixes and a lot of twos and 1 5. But not to get too crazy, but we're still waiting on debut Taylor's version and a potential vault tracks situation from Reputation and or Reputation Taylor's version. 6 minus 1 is 5. I'm so sorry.
Hello.
Because that's the sixth and the first album. I should probably specify Reputation 6 and debuts 1. So yeah, the math is mathing. I think we're getting a double drop. That's why the twos are twoing again.
Right. And her outfit. I think she was talking about. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I know we may be a part of the fandom that she was referencing it. That maybe not. I don't know. I don't think we're as obsessed with like who the songs are about. It's more so
that part did ping me a little bit.
I'm like,
she's like, people are trying to. It's like a paternity test, and they're trying to figure out who it's about. And like, he didn't write that song, I did, and it's like, yeah, but we just want to see where it came from. But that's not me anymore. That was me.
It used to be us, but we're
yesterday.
Grown now.
It was a really good interview.
It was so good.
And I'm seeing a ton of theories like flying around the internet. So like, Swiftying is Swiftying again, and it's just so fun. I always love when we get in these like things are not quiet anymore, and it's just always a blast to be a part of that.
Of course. We're just kind of like, going in the dark here, which brings me to your name. Where was I? April 29th, which is literally today.
Mm-hmm. And I was at Crimelia Street.
What?
I was at Crimelia Street. On
today.
Crimelia Street. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
On
That's
April
where
29th.
we are today.
If anyone was like, where was Tori April 29th? On Crimelia Street.
We were there. We were strolling down the street, wondering if we were drunk on something stronger than the drinks in the bar. I don't know. But also high infidelity.
Which Sam almost was tonight. And again, we're so close to like being a similar name again. Sam instead tonight, which I also love, is Hands Down, which I'm assuming is a reference to Taylor telling us how into emo music she is.
Yes, when she mentioned Chris Carrabba, I was blown back. Even though it's like I've heard her talk about, obviously, like Fall Out Boy and Pete Wentz and all of that. But hearing her specifically reference hands down, which is one of, I would say, my favorite songs of all time. And
It's
like
great.
like it's such a great song for like being a teenager and being in love and all those feelings. Ah! Yeah,
Also,
so I just could not.
there's some theories going around about that, so remind me to touch back on that at the end.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So
Okay.
we'll touch on that in the end.
Okay.
Bevies for tonight. I'm so boring. I just have a high noon. I couldn't be bothered with doing anything else. So.
I have a coffee.
Hey, well, it's in a beer cup.
It is.
So-
It's Florida Avenue, which we. Oh, should I mention that we won second place in trivia
Right.
for Taylor Swift?
Right. At Florida Avenue.
At
Yes.
Florida Avenue.
Yep. Could have been first, you know.
Could have been first. Should have been.
But,
Could have.
but some rules
should've.
are silly.
Yeah, so silly. And I contest, but it's fine.
I have a little bit of true crime news
Okay.
to just quickly touch on. Summer House. This is
Okay.
crazy that when I say true crime news and Summer House is in the same sentence, but you
Right.
know that I've been obsessed with Summer House lately because
'Cause-
the drama.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I really want to get caught up in that. I do.
It's some work, 10 seasons, but like we all did it during Scandival. We can do it during
I can do
this. Yes, this is a drama that equals Scandival. It is just vicious and dirty, and Andy Cohen said that it is the out of over 100 reunions he's ever done, this was like the most emotional one he's ever been a part of. Like crazy.
Wow.
Anyways, all that to say, so one of the people who all the drama is about is Wes Wilson. He is the boy that all this drama is about, and I tell you, girl, if you saw a picture of this man, you would be like, really? Like him?
Okay. Him?
Especially
Okay.
if you saw the women. Like both
I'm sure they're gorgeous.
One actually
Yeah.
is a model. The other, I think, is kind of a model now as well for like her swimsuit line. Beautiful, beautiful women. And then Wes. Anyways, I'm just bitching. I'm
then him.
sidetracking. I'm sidetracking from the true crime part. West's cousin just got arrested. He shot his step grandma.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
What?
and like and she's dead. And this was the day before they filmed the reunion.
Oh my
That-
goodness.
So like that's just crazy.
Wow.
That's wild. Very
That's
sad.
crazy. And so sad.
Yeah, and just like what Summer House? Like what is happening with?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's getting serious, not just like
Right, and I guess it's like Summer House adjacent because it's not anyone actually on the show, but like a family member of someone on the show. But
still, yeah.
over chores, like they had gotten in an argument earlier that
Ew.
night over like him doing some chores.
What? Ew.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Crazy. So that's wild in true crime. Also, locally, we have a crazy true crime case going on as well. I guess I've just been diving into everything I can about it because I'm interested.
Let's do it. Because it's nuts.
Yeah.
Is this a national thing? Because Austin was
I don't
saying
know.
he was like, "Oh, this is like a nationwide thing," but I'm like, "Is it?"
I feel
don't
like
know.
it should be because it's like college students,
Right.
which
So
actually kind of
people-
relates to the case tonight as well. But also, it's not like white college students, so I feel like probably, unfortunately, not as much coverage as you get in those
It should be.
scenarios. But yeah, hopefully it is. I don't know because we live here and it's everywhere. We live where it happened and it's everywhere. But yeah, there were 2 USF grad students that went missing. It was April 16th that they went missing,
Yeah.
or that was the last time they were spotted. So they were missing for a while. They ended up finding remains. It was a male and a female who went missing. They ended up finding remains of the male on a bridge near the city that the 2 college students went missing from, and they confirmed those remains to be the male's remains who was missing. They were suspecting that male's roommate already. They had interviewed him a few times, and he was already a high-up suspect. So they get, the same morning that they find those remains, they get a domestic violence call to a home near the college where the students went missing from. Turns out it was that suspect's, the missing male's roommate, it was his family home that the call was made to for a domestic violence incident, because he was like playing video games in his towel, and his sister came into the room and was like grabbing something out of like a shared bathroom or something, and he tried to pull her into a kiss, and she got freaked out and tried to leave the room, realized he had locked the door and closed it. She was able to escape and then called her dad, who then called the cops on his son for this domestic violence thing.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Of that.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Deranged. So the cops. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, this is literally happening within, I would say 10 miles of our homes.
My
which
boss.
Is nuts.
My boss lives in the neighborhood where this domestic violence call was made, and he actually was trying to come into work last Friday when it happened, and was like, the SWAT team is blocking my neighborhood off, and I'm not allowed to leave the neighborhood. They won't tell us what's going on. And then like later in the day, I sent him like information on what was going on, because I found out what it was. But yeah, so wild. So the police show up to this domestic violence already knowing that this guy is a suspect. They end up there was a standoff for about 30 minutes, I think, and then eventually the SWAT team entered the home, and then he like peacefully gave up and came out still in his towel.
No, the towel thing is so weird, and seeing the footage of him coming out in the towel is so eerie and disturbing
And bizarre.
I hate it.
Yeah. Very bizarre. So that was Friday morning when he was arrested. They ended up charging him with 2 counts of murder, even though they have not found her remains yet. We do know that remains were found near the bridge that the male's remains were found at on Sunday morning, but they haven't confirmed if those remains are her or not yet. And it's now Thursday. So we're not sure about that, but they charged him with her murder anyways, because they found her blood in his apartment, and there was so much blood. So the home he was arrested from was his family's house, but where they found her blood and Zamil's blood to the male was in his place of living. And I guess there were like 2 stains that were the shape of bodies as well. And he stabbed them to death, it seems. And it's just so sad.
Yep. And he used ChatGPT.
Yes. Oh, yeah, right. But it ties into our AI episode as well.
Right.
So, yeah, he was, like, asking ChatGPT, like, what happens if I leave a body in a dumpster and, like, or if I... Which, like, what do you expect ChatGPT's answer to even... Like, what answer are you looking for?
Exactly. And it was like, how do I change an iPhone user after they, like, terminate their service or something like that? And it's like, bro...
I'm glad he's such an idiot, because he got caught so fast, because he's so fucking stupid. And that's good that this guy's just apprehended. And especially, I mean, look at it. He's assaulting his sister, days after he did that. Like, the audacity on top of, like, stupidity. And he's deranged. He has to be.
Deranged. And it's just, like, wild that this man was walking amongst us.
I know. Like,
and
I work 2 minutes from there.
yeah, dude, that's terrifying. And also, like, beforehand, he had ordered from a delivery service. He wanted bleach and, like, maybe
Yes.
some garbage bags or something. And I'm like, dude, like, I do DoorDash sometimes. Like,
True, yeah.
that might be something that I would have delivered and not thought twice about. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that delivery driver coming back now and seeing, like, oh my God, I just delivered this dude's, like, murder things.
Stuff.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Anyways, we are watching that unfold. There's another, what was it? Oh, there's one more ChatGPT query I wanted to mention. When at one point they were just like missing persons, and then they got upgraded to endangered missing persons.
Oh,
that same day he asked ChatGPT, what does endangered missing persons mean?
What? That's wild. And it's crazy because we were talking about that day.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'm glad they got him. I think at least it's pretty clear cut who's responsible. It's just so
sad.
Overwhelmingly sad for those students who were, about to get their lives started. They came from Bangladesh to do this schooling. Their families can't even make it here for the court trial. So, like,
right.
It's just, devastating. So, anyways, that's our little bit of local true crime news. Should we fuck shit up?
Let's fuck some shit up, please. Yep.
Let's fuck it up. Moscow, Idaho is a small college town with a population of about 27,000 people, where the University of Idaho is located. So that's like the size of Grants Pass. So pretty small.
Oh.
Okay, so Moscow is in western Idaho and butts up to the border of Washington state. The town is said to be super safe, and many residents feel comfortable just leaving their doors unlocked there. Just don't do that. I get it, but like don't.
But not blaming anybody. Just
no. So yeah, Moscow is only like 10 minutes, I think even less, from the border of Washington state.
Wow.
At 11:58, near noon, a 911 call was placed. On the call, the phone is being passed between multiple people, but the gist of the call is that there's someone unconscious at the home of 1122 King Road in Moscow. The police were familiar with this home already, as they had had several calls for noise complaints here. It was a good-sized 3-story home and known to be a bit of a party house. And 5 girls shared the house, and one of the girls' boyfriends pretty much always lived there as well. He didn't live there, but he was always there. When first responders arrive at the home, they're met with a horrific scene. 4 young adults were brutally stabbed to death. Like you often see with stabbing victims, there was a lot of blood. There was actually so much blood that it had dripped down the walls of the house to the foundation, and when it hit the foundation, it went out to the exterior. It like dripped to the exterior of the house and was dripping down the foundation on the exterior of the home.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, really something
crazy.
Out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
You can look at photo 4, which just shows like the first floor, the layout of the first floor. You can see there's the door, and then the stairs going up to the second floor is immediately to your left. I'm like, I swear I'm dyslexic with my lefts and rights. Really have to think about it. If you go straight once you walk in the door, there's the bath, and then to either side, left and right, there's 2 bedrooms on the first floor. So when police entered the home initially, they're entering through that door on the first floor, and nothing looks out of place. So then you can go on to the next photo, which shows the second floor. So here, if you come up the stairs from the downstairs floor, there's a bedroom that you see. Coming up those stairs, you're faced with it like right when you get to the top of the stairs. And that is Dylan's bedroom. And then there's another bedroom, kind of catty corner of the house from there. And that is where Xana's bedroom was. And then her boyfriend, Ethan, usually was in there as well. And then there's also a kitchen on this floor, kind of butts up to the bathroom next to Dylan's bedroom. And that kitchen has a slider glass door that goes out to a patio. And that also has ground access like the first floor does because they're on a hill. So you can come in that slider glass door as well. And then there's stairs by Xana's bedroom, and you can go up those stairs to the third floor. So as police head up the stairs to the second floor, they find Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin covered in blood. Xana Kernodle had over 50 stab wounds.
Oh my god, dude.
It's so brutal.
Like what? Like why?
That is one of the most unsettling parts of this case too, is the why. Okay, so you can pull up the next photo, which shows the layout of the third floor. And this kind of has stairs that wrap around, like you go up half the stairs and then you kind of make a little U-turn and go up the next like half of a flight of stairs. And then up here, there's a hallway, a bathroom, and then there's a bedroom to your left and right as well. This was Maddie's bedroom, and then it's a little confusing to me if Kaylee's bedroom was the other bedroom up here, or if Kaylee's dog just like stayed in that bedroom usually, and Kaylee stayed in the bedroom with Maddie. I'm not totally clear on that. And then there's a deck as well with sliding glass doors off of Maddie's bedroom, and there's a porch that kind of wraps around the back of the house, but there's no access from the ground level to that deck. As police proceeded up the stairs to the third floor, they find an empty bedroom with a dog inside, which is that bedroom that doesn't have the deck attached to it. And then across the hallway, officers find Kaylee Gonsalves and Maddie Mogan. The girls had been brutally stabbed to death. Maddie's face was actually unrecognizable due to the stab wounds. And the dog across the hall was Kaylee's dog, a golden doodle named Murphy. And he was surviving. He was alive.
I was gonna ask, like, was the dog like hurt? Oh my god, dude, this is just like, we were on TikTok when this was all happening, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, I remember hearing a little bit about how brutal it was, but hearing these details is just absolutely like gut wrenching. Oh my god.
Right. Yeah, I think it just like really, I mean, this case was huge too when it happened, and because it's for college students, like, and it just seems, no suspect. It's just like, it feels completely random, and I think there's just a level to that that's so unsettling.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you can pull up photo 7, which is kind of like an overview of the house from the front, and it just kind of shows where everyone's bedrooms are. Oh, so I guess actually the dog had the bedroom with the deck access. I thought that was where Kaylee's bedroom was.
So Kaylee and Maddie were found there. Wow. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the victims. Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves had been best friends since middle school. Madison Mogan was 21 years old, a senior at the University of Idaho pursuing a degree in marketing. Maddie was dating a boy named Jake Schringer. Maddie worked at a restaurant called the Mad Greek with her roommate Xana Kernodle. And Maddie was running a social media campaign also for the Mad Greek because she was going to school for marketing, and she kind of wanted to beef up her resume. And she had plans to move to Boise after graduating in the spring. So she had one more semester.
Aww.
Kaylee Gonsalves was also 21 years old, also a senior at the University of Idaho. She was super social, driven, and she wanted to do something in IT. She didn't really have a background in IT, but apparently she had an interview and nailed it for an IT position in Texas, and she planned to move there shortly. People who knew her said that if she wasn't good at something, she just became good at it. So I don't think she was concerned at all that she had no background in this position. She's like, I'll figure it out.
Yep, fake it till you make it.
Yep. She was graduating early and had actually pretty much moved out of the house by this point. It's a little muddy with this as well, but it seems like she had pretty much moved out and was only there that night to see Maddie. Some friends said between Maddie and Kaylee, Kaylee was the one who kind of pushed the envelope, and Maddie was the one who would like reel them back in. So that's just like a cute little dynamic in their friendship.
Mm.
Xana Kernodle was 20. She was a junior from Avondale, Arizona. She was goofy, funny, silly, and a free spirit. Her friends said that she was super inclusive and always tried to make everyone feel welcome. Ethan Chapin was a freshman and a triplet from Conway, Washington. He was the oldest sibling of the triplets. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I know. I know. It's just like an extra. Again, the details, like, yeah.
It just makes you.
Ethan was known to be fun-loving and a charismatic, really nice guy with an infectious smile. He was involved in sports and in frat sports and activities, which I'm not sure what frat sports include, but
right.
I'm intrigued. I think that was from an interview in a documentary. Someone said that, so I'm like, oh, okay. There were 2 other roommates in the house that night that are survivors. Those roommates are Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. Or Funky. It's Funke. I think it's Funk. I can't remember how they pronounced it.
Right.
Upon further investigation, there were no signs in the house of forced entry and no signs of sexual assault on any of the victims. There was a knife sheath found at the scene, a K-bar knife, and the knife itself was never found. The K-bar knife was actually a combat knife, and it had USMC written on it too, so it was from the U.S. Marine Corps. So
interesting.
It's given like to Marine Corps members. I don't know. Is that what you say, member?
Yeah.
Police were wondering if these murders were targeted or not. Early on in the investigation, there were rumors spiraling about Kaylee having a stalker. I saw from one source, police said that language was used, so that's where the rumors came from, but they were never able to corroborate it. Since nothing ever came of the stalker route, I'm assuming it ended up being a dead end. Maddie's room was on the 3rd floor, and the knife sheath was actually found in her room. So investigators think that she was the first person attacked because you're pulling the knife out of the sheath, where you're attacking the first person. Maddie also kept her pink cowboy boots in the window of her room, which could have been a way for someone to identify like which room was hers from outside of the window. Also, if she wasn't the one being targeted, it's so strange for someone to go past the other victims and up to her room first to hurt her first. And just super risky. Like if you were just trying to do like a random murder, you think you would try to hurt the first people you come into contact with.
Right.
After the murders, the community was rocked and students were really shaken up. During a press conference, police mentioned that the murderer was still at large and they can't say that there's no threat or danger at the moment. Students were really scared, and the University of Idaho told students that if they needed to finish the semester remotely, they would work with them and figure out how to do that. So early on, the night of the murders, the last photo of all of the roommates together was taken on November 12th, the day before their murders. In an interview with some of their friends said that they had spent that day together just expressing their love and appreciation for each other.
Oh my God.
And you can look at photo 8. This is like that this is the photo that was most associated with this case, and it's just because all of them are in it, and it was so recent to when everything happened, and they look like kids just having the best time.
Yeah.
So that's Maddie
Just-
on Kaylee's shoulders, and then Ethan is to her left, and then he's got his arm around Santa.
That is just heartbreaking because they're just living their best lives as kids do, you know.
In college,
As we all have, like we've all taken pictures like that, you know what I mean? And
yeah, it's so relatable. Later on that night, Kaylee and Maddie ended up going to a local bar called the Corner Club, which is a sports bar on Main Street, just like in downtown. They leave the bar around 1:30 and head to a food truck called Grub Truck, exactly where I want to be after drinking. After a night at the bar.
as we do.
As we do. And like love a place that's open at that time when you need a little snack after the bar.
Right.
Grub Truck actually live streams on Twitch like while they're open. So there's always a live stream of people coming up to their food truck.
I love that, actually.
Yeah, it seems like a fun like college town thing to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there was video footage of Maddie and Kaylee going to the truck that night, and that footage circulated the internet. And you can actually see after Maddie and Kaylee walk away from the food truck, a male in a hoodie appears to follow in their direction shortly after. Maddie and Kaylee end up taking a car service home, and they're home by about 1:45 to 2 a.m. Ethan and Xana attended a Sigma Phi party. I'm not sure how to say that. Is it a Latin symbol?
Mm-hmm.
Greek. I'm not sure how to say that Greek symbol. They attended a frat party of sorts, or sorority, and are home by also 1:45 a.m. And you can pull up photo 9, which is just like a map. I did not make this one. I found this one on the internet. But it just kind of shows like where everyone was at and like at what times and then where they all ended up. They're pretty much all home by around 2 a.m. Okay, so now we are all home. It's at around 2 a.m. Around 4 a.m., you can see on security footage that someone approached the house on foot. This is about 3:51 a.m. You can also see a white sedan pass the house several times. I don't think this is the house's security footage. I think it's like a Ring camera from a neighbor. You can see someone walk up to the house right before 4 a.m. and then a white sedan passes the house several times. Around 4 a.m., Dylan remembers hearing Kaylee and Murphy, the dog, going upstairs and thought, okay, I'm going to go to sleep now because they're going upstairs. And I think she had actually already been asleep, but I think she heard them and was like going to go back to sleep. Dylan says she then heard Kaylee scream and say someone's here and ran down the stairs. Dylan called her name but jumped up and locked the door because she was so scared. Then Dylan heard someone in the bathroom and could hear a girl crying, and she heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. Dylan kept calling out Kaylee's name, but she wasn't answering. Then Dylan opened the door for a second time and saw a man standing there who had an athletic build, wearing black and a mask that was covering his forehead and mouth. And one thing she did notice is that he had bushy eyebrows. Then she locked the door. She just kind of stood there frozen for a moment in fear. And then she ended up closing and locking the door, and she called someone who was redacted in this source that I saw, saying that she didn't know what to do. I'm pretty sure the person she called was Bethany, the downstairs roommate. How horrifying.
It's just like, this is so horrifying.
Like an actual horror movie. So we know that Bethany and Dylan were frantically texting each other and trying to call and get a hold of their other roommates who were not responding.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, Dylan's freaked out and she runs downstairs to be with Bethany on the bottom floor, and they talk and lock the door. The perpetrator must have come into the house. Well, investigators believe the perpetrator must have come into the house through the sliding glass door adjacent to the kitchen that was almost always left unlocked on that second floor.
So he didn't go through the first floor, he went through the second.
Right into that kitchen, the kitchen, and then
Yeah.
so that he never went on to Bethany's floor. He was always on Xana, Dylan, and Maddie's floor. It's thought that he came in through that sliding glass door and then went to Maddie's room first, since the knife sheath was found there, and it seems he was already there when Kaylee goes up the stairs, because she comes down, she screams and says someone's here. It's thought that maybe Xana at some point interrupted Maddie's murder, and the killer followed her down to her bedroom on the second floor, and that's why the sheath was left behind. He then left after all the murders, left back through that sliding glass door in the kitchen, and like out the same way that he came in. Phone records show that someone in the house had a DoorDash delivery at 4 a.m. too. And also that Xana was active. She posted a TikTok comment at 4:12 a.m. Dylan and Bethany were frantically texting each other and trying to reach their roommates by their cell phones. They ended up just like kind of chalking it up to like, we're being crazy and like scared for no reason, and they both just like stayed in that room together on the bottom floor and slept, and then woke up the next day. The next morning, when the girls wake up, they're still unable to get a hold of their roommates. One of the girls calls a frat brother who lives across the street to come over to the house and check on the roommates with them. He ends up finding the victims, and that's when the 911 call is placed. At this point, it's thought that the murders happened between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., which is such a small window for that much to happen. So early theories, what are your thoughts so far?
Gosh, it's just like nightmare fuel, especially in a small town like that. You think, oh, let's just leave our doors unlocked, it'll be fine. And also in the college town that they're in, it's probably normal to have people coming and going. It just makes you feel absolutely sick, knowing what happened after the fact. I do think it's a little crazy for them to see and hear things going on, and for them not to call the cops.
Yeah, I think in hindsight, for sure. And that is something that a lot of people were talking about, like on TikTok in the early days of this case happening. Like, what a lot of people were even blaming the other roommates, saying like it had to be them because that's so suspicious. And the fact that they didn't call until, because they called at noon the next day. Granted, they're all obviously still awake until like 5 or 6 a.m. after all this happened, right? So I'm sure they slept in once they finally were able to go to sleep. I mean, like the surviving roommates, like, because Dylan, after all this happened, which, you know, could have ended around 4:25, ran downstairs. I imagine her and Bethany were talking for quite some time before actually falling asleep. So they probably didn't even fall asleep until like 5 or 6. And then, so I imagine they just slept probably until, I don't know, 11 the next day, and the 911 call was made at like 11:58. So
wow. Yeah.
Like right around noon. So a lot of people were like, that is crazy. It's very strange to the 911 call. It's very odd because they're just saying there's someone unconscious in the house. They're not saying there's blood everywhere, you know, none of that. So like that also was looked at as very suspicious from the public towards the roommates.
I mean, yeah, considering there's blood seeping from the home.
Right. I think that Dylan, and I don't know about Bethany because I haven't seen any interviews of her. I saw an interview from Dylan, which is where I got a lot of this information, and it was her talking to police like outside the house that morning. I think she was in denial or like some kind of shock.
Yeah. Because
there's no way you see that and you say she's unconscious. Like I feel like she wanted them to be okay. And she probably was feeling really like guilty potentially as well. And I'm not saying that she should. I think she was in a very scary situation. None of us know how we would react
'Cause
in a
didn't
situation like that.
She saw a person, right?
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
she saw a person in a mask.
Yes.
She
With bushy
described how he
eyebrows.
looked with the bushy eyebrows. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I wonder like how I really am curious about what that conversation between her and Bethany was downstairs. Like were they like maybe it was one of the roommates' friends, that was in the house or like I don't know. All I can do is speculate, but I
Right.
am very curious what that conversation would have been that didn't lead them to call the cops that night. I wonder if Bethany really believed this or if she thought maybe she was dreaming, or like
Right.
does she have a history of sleep paralysis or something like that they could have like chalked it up to. I don't know. I'm just like throwing wild shit out there, but
No, I mean, it's all.
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
think of like what could lead someone to, because I also feel like I saw someone had dug in my backyard a little patch of like someone had been and I'm like, do I call the cops? Is there an arm in my backyard? Like, is there a body? So like, I'm so quick to call, I feel like, but yeah, I feel like they must have like talked themselves down out of it. Like, I wonder what that conversation was, but they must have, right?
They must have, yeah, which is so. It's like all these things that we're saying in hindsight is just the
Right.
worst.
And it does hurt a little because it's like, would any of them have been able to, if they did receive medical attention sooner? Like, I don't know, because it was pretty brutal. So it sounds like at least a couple of them definitely not. But yeah, and I'm sure that unfortunately they think about that probably very often too,
Yeah.
And they're victims too. Like, I'm not at all saying that they should have done anything different. I think they were in shock and scared.
Right.
Anyways,
Yep.
yeah, I am just very curious what that conversation would have been. So, early theories were, this is just like people running wild on the internet. Early theories was the guy at the food truck in the hoodie who like kind of followed them. That guy was cleared by police. And one of the documentaries I saw too, I think one of the mutual friends were saying like they know who that guy is, and like I guess he was getting a lot of hate like on the internet and stuff, but like they're like, it can't be him. There was the person who drove Maddie and Kaylee home, also cleared by police. The food delivery driver was also cleared by police, the one who came and dropped off food at around 4 a.m. And I also wonder if he is the one who was seen on the camera. It's never specified, so I don't know. But I remember there was someone on the camera at 3:51, and I'm like,
a white car.
There was a white car, but there was also someone walking like towards the house or by the house at 3:51, and it's like, was that the perpetrator or was it just this dude bringing some food? The stalker theory was never corroborated, so that was a theory, but didn't go anywhere. Another theory that people were coming up with was that it could have been a conflict stemming from the social lives of any of the roommates, like maybe a potential fight at a party or something. Any ex that any of the roommates ever had. Pretty much everyone is a suspect, but they hadn't really narrowed it down on anyone in particular yet, but they were interviewing everyone. There were also some potential links between a stabbing attack on Jamelyn and Travis Jewton in Oregon, where Jamelyn survived after 19 stab wounds, but her husband, who fought off the assailant, was pronounced dead at the scene. So they were thinking that's kind of in close proximity, and it's like a brutal, vicious stabbing attack in a home invasion. So like maybe the same guy. But through DNA, the assailant of this case was actually found out to be Cody Michael Ray, who was on a zero tolerance probation that he repetitively violated and kept not getting arrested for violating the probation. There was actually a wrongful death lawsuit against Marion County in Oregon for this, as Jamelin says that Travis would still be alive if Marion County had locked Ray up when he violated his probation. Ray actually ended up committing suicide sometime before the death of the Idaho 4 in like mid-August or early October of 2021. So it could not have been him. So that was ruled out. Also, like, lock that guy up before.
Right. God.
The investigation continues. Idaho State Police and the FBI were brought into the investigation very quickly, and tips started to pour in like crazy. Law enforcement gives a press conference that they think this is an isolated, targeted attack, but they don't know who's responsible, so they can't say there's not a threat to the community. The autopsies. Maddie and Ethan only had sharp force wounds, which were their stab wounds. Xana had over 50 stab wounds, which we already talked about. Most of them were defensive wounds.
It's like, my God.
I know.
It's so heartbreaking, dude. Like, her trying to fight him off as best as she could. And,
Yeah. And it sounds like she put up quite a fight, too.
yeah.
Yeah, it is so heartbreaking. Kaylee, her nose was broken. Her father said in an interview that the blows that she endured that were not stab wounds, just like physical blows, would have killed her alone. Her face was almost unrecognizable because of the stab wounds. She had 20 plus stab wounds, and she was the only victim with asphyxial injuries, which occur when oxygen supply to the body is cut off, causing tissue hypoxia and potential brain damage within minutes. Causes of this include strangulation, choking, drowning, or mechanical compression of the chest, resulting in symptoms like cyanosis, subconjunctival hemorrhage, loss of consciousness, and respiratory failure. So she was probably strangled, hit physically a lot, and then also stabbed a lot. So, and she was up in the room with Maddie, or she was the one who came up the stairs, and Dylan heard her scream. So I wonder if like she walked in on what was happening to Maddie, or I don't know.
Like, was Maddie the target, and then she just happened to
Right.
come see what was going on, and just so sickening.
All 4 of these murders were done within 16 minutes, it's shown from the autopsies. And all the stab wounds were a fixed blade knife, which matches the K-bar knife sheath that was found. 16 minutes is crazy.
Yeah. To do that much damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Law enforcement canvassed the neighborhood for cameras and find that a vehicle was strangely operating on King Road the night of the murders, which was that white sedan we talked about. This vehicle had passed the house a few times just prior to 4 a.m. The vehicle was found to be a white Hyundai Elantra that was 2001 to 2006. There was no front license plate, which was interesting because you had to have a front license plate in both Idaho and Washington State. You actually no longer need to have a license plate now. I found out while doing this research, but that's like new to 2025. So before that, you did need, back in 2022, you did have to have a license plate on the front of your vehicle in Idaho. The vehicle had passed the house 3 times. Pretty suspicious, especially because it's not a high traffic road and it's 4 a.m. At 4:04 a.m., the vehicle was attempting to make a turn or park in front of the residence, and then it's seen speeding out of King Road quickly. Police asked the public for information about this car and put a tip line out for people to reach out to. On November 29th, 2 weeks after the murders, an officer surveilling vehicles on Washington State University campus, about a 10-minute drive from the University of Idaho, spots a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra registered in Pennsylvania. And fun fact, in Pennsylvania, you're not required to have a license plate on the front of your car.
Interesting. Okay.
This vehicle was registered to Bryan Kohberger. So they ran his record, and there was no history of violence. There's also thousands of potential owners of this like white sedan that they're looking for. And a lot of people wonder, like, did police tunnel vision in on Bryan too quickly and stop like looking at other potential suspects?
That is all for today's episode of Crimenelia Street. You can follow us on Instagram at Crimenelia Street or TikTok at Crimenelia ST Podcast. Feel free to send us an email at crimeneliast@gmail.com.